so kuloni to see the ku ire omo ire owo wo wiri kyungo Yusef Kamal Baba Yusef Kamal Baba Yusef Kamal Baba
Cusco, a city with a lot of culture and history from the time of the Incas. Here you find Sipaswaina, a cultural house in the suburbs of Cusco. The crew met up with Karina Loaiza, who guides the crew around the culture house. Karina, an artist and a teacher in Sipaswaina, explains the philosophy and the teaching methods of the culture house. For example, the importance of not comparing yourself to others, to work with effort, not giving up, keeping the passion alive and having fun. The Culture House is open for all people of ages around 12 to 25. They work with a range of different expressions, such as dance, ceramics, screen printing, and much more. Cusco and Sipaswaina, spray paint was not a very common technique. The following week, the crew were going to hold a workshop with the kids, teaching spray methods in exchange for a workshop in classic Peruvian painting style, involving wall paint with sponges and brushes. Starting with a brainstorm exercise where the group planned and discussed the reason and the theme of the mural. This resulted in a theme of finding a negative behavior and transforming it to its opposite. The whole group painted inside the cultural house. It was a positive learning experience for the whole group and a nice mixture of styles. The spray paint workshop started with teaching basic spray techniques, such as drawing a straight line, making shapes, and other techniques. The group enjoyed it and was picking up the information fast. They were very eager to start painting, and it began with painting patterns of different forms. Day 2. The exercise was to create a character design to paint on the wall using the patterns from the first lesson as a background. Their motives were very creative. They enjoyed it a lot. Last step of the workshop was to get the wall finished with wall paint and sponges. The result was satisfying for the whole group. The space had previously been grey, empty and uninviting. Therefore, it hadn't been used so much. The workshop inspired the teachers to start working with the space, now that it has been filled with life and color. The week was finished with painting a mural on a school nearby. The artists all got a square each to paint and met up with Karina, together with two other artists, Dario and Natalia. Here, the motifs were chosen freely and painted with a mixture of spray paint, wall paint, and the new learned techniques with sponges. The Peruvian bureaucracy is a lot smoother when it comes to get a hold of walls to paint. Compared to Sweden, it was a big difference for the crew. The locals passing by were very happy to see the paintings and left only positive feedback. The crew felt that it was a very free and natural thing to do, and the people were not questioning the fact that they were painting in the middle of the street. The painting was finished in 2 days, and the result was satisfying for the soul. In Cusco, the mural artworks are not common, because the city has a historical value with a lot of ancient heritage and a zero tolerance of street art in the center of the city. This has forced the majority of the local artists to paint mostly tourist-related art for a living. Still, the crew got to see some fascinating paintings, the most famous being the great mural by Juan Bravo, depicting the history of Peru. This kind of communication of historical events and political issues is a very well-used theme throughout Latin America when it comes to murals. A studio always tells a lot about the artist, and it's inspiring to see the space where they come to create. Karina has a lot of paintings. She works with textures and abstract motifs. Dario Studio gave the crew a better understanding of him as an artist and the motive he painted at the mural. Visiting an artist studio gives a lot of insight to the creative mind behind the art. The motives and drives behind the artistry varies a lot, and the most political group of artists visited was the artist collective MDH, who works from the suburbs of Lima. They showed their process working both digitally and on canvas, and explained the philosophy and the drive behind their artworks.
When he plays, it's, well, take his theme song, for instance.
That sounds great. Shorty girls are true.
Next up was Callao, where there is an active project called Callao Monumental. The artist named Entes started a project to improve one of the more difficult suburbs in Peru by mural painting. The project has been very successful and has changed the whole atmosphere of the suburb, where gang fights and shootings has been a common issue. Nowadays, the neighborhood is filled with murals, sculptures, and galleries, creating a very joyful and inspiring atmosphere.
That's his approach. What he did was change the phrasing slightly from the way it was written and use his own rhythmic ideas in terms of here is where each note goes.
The crew had been in contact with Tailored Tours Peru, tour with the aim of exposing the local talents and the urban culture of Peru, with roots in both Lima and Callao. Brenda is the founder of the tour and was arranging for the wall to be painted by the crew. The crew divided the wall between themselves, mixing their styles in a collaborative painting. There were a lot of interaction with the neighbors and locals, who were very positive about the painting and wanted to know the meaning of it. The purpose of the painting in general is important for the people in Peru. This is a big difference compared with Swedish mentality, where the meaning of the artwork often isn't questioned as much. Peru has a very diverse social climate which affects the art from place to place. But in general, you can find a strong undertone of their history in the artworks. And the Incas have had a big influence in how the art scenes looks today.
Behind the deep fog curtains of the Amazons, you still find artwork and writings engraved in the ancient stone walls of the past civilizations. The people have been expressing themselves and their cultures for ages. The colors of the jungle have spread and continues to spread like a flourishing plant all the way to the cities. This is Urban Rituals.